This is Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth, and on today's show, my guest is Digger. Digger, how you doing today?
Doing good, Josh. Good to be here.
Digger, I'm gonna ask you a few questions about wrestling and a little bit of everything. First off, how did you get into the business?
That's kind of a funny story. Some good friends of mine took me over to a benefit show, concert kind of deal, and as we're sitting there, this guy comes up. I've seen him before, and it's not clicking until he starts talking. This guy named Big Mark Adams, and the benefit was for a motorcycle rider that got hurt, and Mark makes a statement that he had talked to his promoter, and they're going to do a benefit show for Bo in Charlestown, Indiana. Well, living in Charlestown, I'm like, right on, man. I'm going to go to that. So about a week later, I get a phone call from the friends that took me over there. The wrestling company got screwed over by a sound person, and me having my own PA system, they asked me if I'd do it. And I'm like, absolutely. You know, it's for a fellow biker that got injured. Absolutely, no problem. So it entails my feet into the business.
That's pretty cool. Where did the name Digger come from?
Very good friend of mine who's no longer with us gave me that name as I opened up my DJ business. Started out Jason's Karaoke and DJ. And Evil Arnie was like, no, man. So the next week he shows up with this little paper with skulls and crossbones and all this cool little deal on it that says Digger's Karaoke, because full-time job, I dig graves. So that's when Digger was born.
You digging any graves tonight?
Not tonight. Well, I might be digging my own with this interview, but you never know.
What was it like being a ring announcer?
It's good times. Good times. A lot of fun. Met a lot of interesting people. A lot of good people. Like I said, I had a lot of fun doing it. Other than that, I don't really know what to say.
I hear you. What's your thoughts on Nick Dinsmore?
You know, those were mixed thoughts for a minute, but then I actually met Nick, and Nick's an all right guy. You know, I learned Nick learned me, and as we seen each other in locker rooms and stuff, we cordial, get along fine. I'm sure people who have seen the $5 wrestling video know where that question come from.
Exactly. Were there any guys you followed growing up?
The Road Warriors, absolutely loved them. Seen a video, it was just like I thought, according to the people who wrestled them. When you got in the ring with those guys, you got your ass beat. And, you know, of course, you know, the Ric Flair, Jerry the King Lawler, a lot of the USWA guys and WCW guys.
What's the best and worst company you have worked for?
I wouldn't say any of them were the worst, and none of them were the best. All companies have their downfalls, and all companies have their ups. Basically, it's how you make it. If you let it get under your skin, then you're working for the worst company in the world. If you blow it off and go on and do your thing and stay out of the company politics, it's the best company in the world.
Who's your favorite wrestling announcer of all time?
Lillian Garcia,
Really?
for obvious reasons.
Any others?
Not in wrestling, in professional wrestling per se, but absolutely Michael Buffer.
Cool. Yeah. Who are three guys in the Indies you dislike?
3 guys I dislike.
Yeah.
I would have to say Kyle Maverick. Don't care a whole lot for him. In the Indies now, Big Van Vader. I don't care for him. Third guy's not really coming to my mind. There's a few out there I don't care for, but it's irrelevant. So I just stay out of their way.
What's your thoughts on you and Juicy Jimmy's street fight?
Mine and Juicy's Jimmy street fight. Wow. We absolutely positively beat the piss out of each other. It was good. Great times. Hurt the next day, hurt the day after. Jimmy's a big man.
Right.
Getting thrown around by a big man and getting splashed and body slammed, and you find out you had muscles and things that hurt that you didn't know you had. But all in all, I'd do it again.
It was fun, wasn't it?
That was fun. It was great.
Who's the most arrogant person you have met in the Indies?
Once again, wasn't always in the Indies, but he is now. Big Van Vader. I had the misfortune to be in a locker room with him. He was arrogant. He walked around absolutely positively disrespecting everyone in that locker room, including the booker. The way he talked to the booker would be the way me and you might talk to our dog when they piss us off. I mean, he just absolutely, positively was one big piece of shit.
What do you think about the WWE currently?
Currently, it's soap opera. That's wrestling's turned into exactly what they call it, entertainment, and that's what people want nowadays. They don't want to watch me and you get in there, not say anything, and just have a good old fashioned throwdown.
Yeah.
They want to hear you tell me how bad you're going to whoop me. I'm going to tell you how bad I'm going to whoop you. That we're going to meet up in the street somewhere and slap each other, and and then finally we're going to have this big match on the grand stage, and it's going to look like crap. It's in my eyes, the WWE is absolutely, positively unbelievable anymore.
Right. Yeah. They also have too many pay-per-views.
Oh yeah. $50 a pop pay-per-view,
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get the pay-per-view, you're like, really? Mm-hmm. That's not what I was thinking I was paying for.
Who are your top 5 indie wrestlers to watch work?
Top 5 to watch work is definitely Isaiah. And I can't think of his name. He works down in Kentucky. Shoot. One that does come to mind is Jordan Cage. Juicy Jimmy for the entertainment factor.
Yeah.
Definitely for the entertainment factor. He gets out there and gets that crowd doing what he wants them to do. And there's so many more that I guess in front of camera their names just ain't popping in my head.
Yeah, if you get that in 5 minutes, that's fine. Do you think there are too many shows in Southern Indiana?
Absolutely too many shows in Southern Indiana. Right now, between Jeffersonville, Clarksville, Charlestown, Madison, it's saturated. And why do I want to go to Charlestown if I live in Jeff? Why do I want to go to Clarksville if I live in Charlestown? Why do I want to drive to Madison if I live in Jeff when I've got a show right here? It's just if they get it all together right and they have one show a couple times a month in a central location, they're going to draw a lot more than 15, 20, 40 people at each event.
Yeah. What people do you respect in the business?
I respect a lot of the guys in the business. Whether I like them or not, I respect them. It's a lot of them that I've met. This has been their life, and it's the way they put bread on the table. I respect that, especially the way indie wrestling is right now. They're kicking and scratching and trying to put food on the table in a business that's slipping away. And it's because of the previous question, too many shows in one area.
What was your favorite Indies match that you've witnessed?
Favorite Indies match that I've witnessed? I would have to say I can't remember who he wrestled, but it was definitely Necro Butcher. I witnessed it from the outside as Father Fear's bodyguard, and wow, that man's got a good punch on him. Anybody that thinks that Necro Butcher is a professional wrestler and it ain't real, you know what? Go back and look real hard, because when Necro Butcher punches you, you get punched.
Is there anything you didn't accomplish in wrestling that you wanted to?
All the way trained in. The street fight with me and Jimmy, I had some good friends in the business. They trained me. They got me ready for that. But there's still things I don't know that I would have loved to figure it out and found out how to do and got trained to do. And maybe even went a little further on the wrestling side than the announcing side, because if you step in the indie business, that means you love wrestling, and I do. So I'd have liked to went a little further with the wrestling training and actually done a few more matches.
All right, the next question is one that a lot of people want to know, and is what made you quit the business?
The line, the BS in the locker room, the backstabbing. I watched people who were inseparable friends in a matter of months become mortal enemies. And it's all because of he said, she said shit. If they actually sat down and talked to each other instead of just getting mad and blowing it up into this, they'd find out that it's not as bad as they think it is.
Do you think you will ever return to the business?
I'm not going to say no. I've learned that in my life. No matter what it is that you've left, don't say you won't ever go back, because you never know what you're going to do. Would I like to? In a way. And in a way not, because of the lying, backstabbing, and all this he said, she said shit. Like, it's kind of like being in high school again. But in another way, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to. It was good times, and I still got a lot of good friends in it.
Besides this interview here today, what are you doing nowadays?
I went back to the DJing and singing. That's kind of where I come out of when I got into the business, and I went back into it, having a great time, loving every minute of it. Ultimately, I am an entertainer. When I'm up on that stage singing, or I'm up on that stage ring announcing, or doing a wrestling thing, I'm entertaining people, and that's in my blood. And no matter what I do, whether it's wrestling or my DJing or singing, I'm going to entertain people because I have to.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for coming on my show.
It's been my pleasure, man.
Taking the time out of the day.
It's my honor.
And but do you have any last words or anything you'd like to say to anybody out there?
Absolutely, positively. If you see this video, Insider Wrestling Truth.
That's right.
Insider Wrestling Truth. Find it on YouTube and subscribe. This man is going to have interviews with all your favorite wrestling personalities, all your favorite wrestlers. He's up and coming. Keep watching for the videos. I'm sure he's going to surprise a lot of you.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you.